for
Yeah, I
that.
forgot. Questions and answers.
Thank you so much, Beatrice.
How was your process to begin to see what you wanted to do? People act like, oh, it's all positive. And sometimes there's a sacrifice of something you might love.
I would love to. I just feel like I'm missing some spots. So thank you for asking that question so we can kind of explore it. This is great because just a few days ago, I was hanging out with my friend Kevin right there in the second row. For the past 2 years, since like making these realizations about needing to step away from everything, there was sacrifice in that, of course. And it's not the career aspect. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm saying no to opportunities, which I am, but I'll get to that in a bit. My friend Kevin and I were hanging out. We were eating tacos right over in Fruitvale. It was amazing. It was so good. And we were talking about how I've just been tucked, as in like I haven't been seeing anybody for the past 2 years. I haven't been going to events just to kind of focus on how to be centered as a person and like meditate and like not say yes to everything like I used to, right? Because I'm a recovering people pleaser. That's another issue. We can talk about that another time. Woo, it's a lot of layers to that and understanding like the roots of like why I people please. That's a familial thing. That's a spiritual thing. Kevin asked me, and I did not expect this question at all. He's like, so did you lose friends over that? Like, did you lose friends over that time? And I was like, whoa, I didn't think about that. And the answer can't be limited to the 2 years that I've been like staying tucked. But I do think about this journey of like going inward and like taking time for yourself and like healing as a person, and how that a lot of times it means you're conserving your energy and you have to kind of handle certain guilt, and I've had to deal with a lot of that. It's like, oh man, like I'm sorry I can't be present. And your friends who are super forgiving like teach you forgiveness. They teach you that it's okay. And that's the funny part about it. And some friends don't. And that also teaches you to teach forgiveness to yourself. But that's just like a layer of the sacrifices that I've been making and understanding how do I deal with going into my own path when I'm a really sentimental person. Like I'm not stoic or like kind of objective about this, where it's like, oh, I have one singular goal and I'm a one-track minded person and I'm running a business and I'm gonna sacrifice whatever I need to get that done. I'm not that person. I'm the one who wants to bond with my friends. I'm the one who wants to keep friendships. I'm the one who wants to just have like really, strong relationships, but that's hard. That's hard. And I think that's one of them. And I guess in the aspect of career, in tapping into myself, excuse me if this answer is long, there are a lot of layers to this. I really just want to explore it all, if you don't mind. Tapping into myself means understanding there are a lot of opportunities coming my way. When I post something on social media, people, and I'm sure everyone, like so many creatives experience this too, when you post something on social media and someone's like, hey, I want to collab. We should work on this. Let's work on that. When you do something like that, you realize, oh, the opportunities are always going to keep coming. As you put things out there, law of attraction, my friend put me onto that of like, you put things out there, you receive it back. I realized, okay, like if I put things out there, it will come. But what if I need to take time to myself? That's the hard part. Because in this society, it's kind of like hustle, 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 expand, grow, handle shit, build, like, you know what I mean? Build your brand. And that's hard when your teacher's asking you, what have you been up to? And you just don't know how to keep going back to that because I'm still navigating through that. That's the thing. It's like, how do I define myself when it's undefinable in a world that wants you to be defined? And how do you feel self-assured in that? That's the journey. Thank you again for asking that.
I'm wondering if you can share with us who some of your mentors are, people that you know and even people that you don't know. Yeah, kind of who you look up to and admire.
We're constantly learning every day, and I feel like whatever wisdom that I'm acquiring, it's from everyone who's a peer of mine. When I moved to Boston, this was my first time being away from family. And so you're kind of stepping away from the structures of family for a second, and like you're learning a new way of life. And I was like upset about a certain situation, and I usually handle it in a certain way because of how I learned it. And I asked a friend, and she was like, I asked a friend how she would deal with it. And she's like, you would just discuss. And I'm like, we usually fight about these things, and it usually doesn't turn out that way, but I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know, like, she offered me like a new way to see things that I'd never would have thought of before. And so that like put a light in my head where I'm like, oh, I can keep asking people questions. Like I can keep asking my friends questions and like keep learning from other people on like new ways of learning things. It's like tasting new food and like going back home and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna like cook something different from what I just tasted from this travel, like from this trip I just took. You know, like when you take a trip and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna try and cook pad thai and I just don't know how to. It's just not. Nope, can't do it. But I would say immediately my peers. I learned it from my peers. And when it's not from my peers, on top of that, it's also this is a random one, but this totally just popped up in my head, and I just need to talk about it. There's this guy named Sean FX Lee. He's a foreign exchange trader. This guy's a millionaire, but that wasn't like what attracted me to him at all. I just followed him on Instagram because he wrote this book called USA Guide to Balancing the Mind, Body, and Spirit. And I read that book, and it just goes through all the layers of your being and how to understand yourself. And I'm like, oh, this is so great. Like, this is helping me understand how to meditate, understanding my chakras, understanding what to put in my body, how to think, how to manifest. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. So obviously I didn't think much of it, but I was very intrigued by him as a person. So I keep following him. And I'm in the creative field. He's in finance or foreign exchange, like manifesting all of this like wealth and posting charts of like foreign exchange trading. And I'm just like, yeah, but I love your mindset, dude. Like, this is dope. Oh my gosh. Like, he's so driven and he's so focused. And so that's when I began to realize that I could learn from people from different industries. And I love that because it kind of just dissolves the borders. And this is what I mean about, I don't care about titles. I don't care about what you do. I care about like the inner of what drives that. Because someone who's an artist could have the same drive as someone who does foreign exchange, or trading. And so I kind of just like want to dissolve all of those boundaries. Also, Oprah, Jan Levinson, Steve Jobs, really expanded beings. Gary Zukov, who wrote like Seed of the Soul, Robert Greene, who wrote Laws of Power, which I could only read like 2 chapters of. I don't know if anyone else has read that book. Ooh, that was a lot. I couldn't take that in. He also wrote this book called Mastery. It's safe to say, like, I just like to absorb knowledge in every direction coming my way. I'm like, no filter.
A lot of what you said really resonated with me as someone who's like, I'm only a couple years older than you and feeling like you got to do all the things. And it sounds like this moment for you is really about finding identity. I'm just wondering what practices you have in place to center yourself and take care of yourself when you can do all the things and you're clearly very accomplished at this point. Like, what do you do to come back to you?
Ooh, the word accomplished is weird to say. I was like, you saw me? I was like, whoa. I love that. It's funny, 2014 was when I started doing these things called gratitude exercises, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, gratitude exercises. It was really weird to do. And meditating was like, sitting for 20 seconds at that point was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. I'm good. This is not. But I have an idealistic mind where I feel like our spirit and our soul kind of suggests things to us. Like, if you're curious about that, then there's probably a good reason why. And for me, like, I just kept at it. I kind of kept at it. And I'm like, okay, let me just keep trying meditation. And as I kept doing that, my friend put me on to this thing called Gaia.com. Is anyone on Gaia? Gaia is like spiritual Netflix, y'all. Oh my God. Oh, y'all, like yes. Okay, so there's all these like yoga classes, kickboxing, Tai Chi. There's also like conspiracy theory shows. Anyways, don't tap into that yet. But it sounds easy for me to say, right? Like, oh, I just did all these things, but no, I literally crawled. I crawled. Like 20 seconds of meditating and feeling your feelings, No, like that's been tough for me. It's been rough because there's like so much healing involved. And so the hard part is literally me saying no to going out and no to projects and exploring why I feel guilt. Oh, because I'm a people pleaser. And oh, I learned that from family. And oh, I got to break down ancestral like situations and healing and explore, learn a little bit more about my family and how hard that is, because it means that I'm spending a lot of time on that and spending a little less time on work or a lot less time on work, and understanding that the work that I have to do is that right now. And that's work. And that's work because you're going to have to go through that, grow through that anyway. And so it's weird for me to prioritize that. But by you asking that question, I just feel kind of empowered in moving through that. But it's hard. Any way we do it, I think, is just hard work. Like it sounds, oh yeah, you're in your spiritual journey. No, it's hard work. What are you talking about? Goodness gracious, don't make it seem like it's no. That's what it looks like on the outside. Thank you.
Awesome. Can y'all give a round of applause for Beatrice?
Thank you, y'all.